Live. My name is Kennedy from Zendrop, for those of you who don't know me. And if you're not familiar with Zendrop Live, we do these lives pretty much every single week to be able to connect with our Zendrop users, give you guys some insight on the e-commerce space, and give you guys the tools that you need to create a successful career online. If you haven't already, go ahead and drop in the chat where you guys are logging in from. We love to see where in the world our Zendrop users are. And today's episode is super exciting because one of our newest and most talented team members, our CMO, is going to be giving you guys the secret to e-commerce success. Before we do that, I want to remind you that we do have a Zendrop Facebook group called Zendrop Exclusive. This Facebook group is your direct access to not only Zendrop leadership, but also with each other. This Facebook group is for you guys to share ideas, get advice, be able to connect with each other while you're building your online businesses and becoming the entrepreneur that we all know that you can be. We're going to have a Q&A at the very end of this Zendrop Live. So if you have any specific questions pertaining to your business or to the secrets of e-commerce success, make sure to stick around until the end because myself and Bob, our CMO, will be answering these questions for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our presentation and give you guys a little insight on who the most talented guy is going to be discussing all about the secrets of e-commerce success. So again, the secrets of e-commerce success, what are they? You are about to find out. Recently, we brought on an incredible team member, our CMO, Bob Tripathi. He has worked on many different incredibly large e-commerce stores and brands. This guy knows his stuff. If at any time you'd like to contact him and learn more about the e-commerce space or get his insight on dropshipping, you can email him at bob@zendrop.com. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Bob up onto the screen, and he is going to give you guys the secret to e-commerce success.
Very nice. And I think the real secret in e-commerce is there are no secrets. But hello, everyone. I'm glad to meet you all here. And I'm super excited to be working with all of you who are our members and who are not, and who are looking at e-commerce and drop shipping in general. But again, the secret is there are no secrets because when you build the business, the one thing that is guaranteed is you're going to work hard, or you will have to work hard. And the second is the hunger. So working hard and hunger combined hopefully turns into something. And as you know, success has really no guarantees. So sorry to break this to you, but there are no secrets. But what we do have is we have tactics on how to become a better e-commerce entrepreneur. So on the next slide, if you really go on it, the next slide, if you look at it and what attracts me, like by heart, I'm an e-commerce guy. I started my career as an e-commerce guy, and I built stores. This is before there was shopping carts, so we had to hand code it. This is before there was any big supply chain. Amazon was just getting started. So I'm talking like 2000, 2001. But now the landscape has changed. So what you look at it is there are two existing opportunities. One is you can either create your own store. Like if you don't want to program it, you have existing shopping cart systems, like you've got Shopify and WooCommerce and what have you. And you can see on the screen there is a little graph that shows the breakdown of each platform. Now, that is if you want to build your own store. The other is you tap into an existing audience. So you've got big players, obviously, like Amazon, then you got Walmart, and then you got eBay. I sold for many, many years in early 2000 on eBay. And, back in the day, I used to tell people like, hey, if you put good shit in a nice box, it's gonna sell on eBay. And probably that's still true. But this is the e-commerce opportunity. So for those of you who are just getting initiated into this world, you wanna build your business, this is the two ways to go about it. Obviously, for folks who are ready to do their own marketing and wanna build a bigger footprint as you go along, then you wanna build your own store. So on the next slide, what you see here is there are two kinds of sellers, right? So we're gonna be talking today a little bit about the kind of sellers, how you should go about it, and I'm gonna give you one tactic on Facebook and something about SEO. So those are the two things I'm gonna talk about in terms of tactically. But when you really break it down, and especially working at Zendrop and leading the marketing team here and aligning with so many different people, I see there are two kinds of sellers. One is what I would like to call it as a short-sighted seller, and the other is long-term sellers. I know people have given different names to the short-sighted sellers, like Lambros and whatnot, but I'm gonna steer away from it. Short-sighted sellers is somebody who's out to make a quick buck. Doesn't mean they're not ethical. They're just looking at today. They are just looking at a few days down the road. So that short-sighted approach. Long-term selling involves a lot of planning, that you are here to stay and you can sustain yourself and go through the peaks and valleys like any businesses will come across. So let's first dive in the next slide on what does a short-sighted seller look like. You can call it short-sighted or short-term sellers. Well, what they do is most of these short-term sellers focus on finding a product that sells. So they don't care what the product is, right? As I said earlier, shit sells too. So they don't care if it's packaged nicely, they're gonna sell it because their focus is more on making money. What money they can make by the end of the day today, what money they can make by the end of this week or the month. And they focus on finding product that sells. On the other hand, they also rely heavily on paid advertising or influencer marketing. So what essentially it means is they are at the mercy of the big platforms like Facebook, Google, TikTok, and so on. Many of them I've found out, unfortunately, not all of them, some of them, they're very much focused on making money. So there is less effort on customer support or good user experience. Because for them, if they got their orders in, they made their money, that's great. Now, there could be shipping delays or what have you, but there's not so much focus on it. And the whole mindset is what's in it for me, right? That's the whole mindset. And, I like to think of them as like they are the honeybees of e-commerce, right? So they go on and finding a new nectar as much as they can. Now, on the next slide, what you really see is people who are known as long-term sellers, right? Now, these are folks who believe in selling only those products that they're passionate about. So there is no right or wrong approach in it. It's just what resonates with you as a seller, right? They source products based on categories. So, for example, if maybe I'll pick on Kennedy. Kennedy is an age group and she lives in LA, so probably she's more into products like boho chic for girls, right? Maybe because that's what she's passionate about, or health and fitness that she's passionate about. So she will find products, or people like their long-term sellers find product who they're passionate about. They focus a lot on reviews and stellar customer support because customers are everything. These type of sellers also focus on earned and owned digital tactics, which we're going to go on it. But at the end of the day, they are focusing a lot on customers and long-term strategic mindset. So going on to the next slide, what we do see is a digital marketing life cycle. So irrespective of where you are in the game, the marketing life cycle doesn't change. It's all about awareness, acquisition, engagement, and retention. So that's like the 4 basic steps. And you can dive deeper, and you can always email me at bob@zendrop.com, and I can walk you through it. But on the next slide, if you really go for, if you look at it, dive deeper, before you start anywhere, you gotta build your audience, right? So then who is your audience? How do you build your audience? And what I call it is personas or avatars, whatever you call it. But those are the building blocks of any marketing campaign. If you don't know who your customer is or who do you want to sell to, you cannot be really successful. And there's a lot of language on this slide, so I'm gonna skip on it. But at the end result, if you follow these steps, which is the building blocks, and answer these few questions, you can have a very basic level of persona. So on the next slide, for example, this is an example of how a persona looks like. So when you look at a persona or an avatar, you try to get as close as you can to your ideal customer. And you can basically list down on a super small paper, on a slide or what have you, on a on a napkin too. Like, what are the personal, who this Candace looks like, what is their interest, what are her challenges, what drives her. And what it's gonna do is, once you start looking at it, you're gonna start thinking more strategically, and then you're gonna have a better plan for your business, for your e-commerce. Like, you look at classic e-commerce businesses, right? Like, you look at Amazon, started with books, or you can look at a company like Zappos, or you look at Warby Parker. They all started with the customer persona in mind. And once you have a customer persona, then you go after that kind of an audience. Otherwise, you're just running around, as they say, chicken with no head. So going on to the next slide. On the next slide, what you see is the whole universe of paid ads, right? So I'm going to focus a little bit in paid ads, and then we're going to move into a different tactic. In terms of paid ads, again, you got to have your persona. So for example, you see that you're selling a product like boho chic products, then that's a great persona who could be living on, say, TikTok or Instagram. So those are the platforms to go after. If you see that your audience is, in a different age bracket, say 35 to 55, then you're better suited to showing them video ads, or you're better suited to showing them Facebook ads or Google ads, right? Because that's their platform of choice. So basically, you gotta go where your audience is, and the other thing that I've seen people do a lot is, when they start the e-commerce store, they go all out on paid ads and start creating ads on all platforms at one go. But what usually that happens is, it distracts them, and suddenly they're not able to focus, and they don't see sales on either one of them, because managing ads on each platform is a lot of work, right? So going on to the next slide, this is a classic business 101. I think the slide it's that you can see, and that is an effort and impact analysis. In life, usually, most of the times, there is an effort. So you look at ads on YouTube, for example, right? You see so many ads from the self-help gurus, or how I can make you rich online, folks like that. Now, there is a little bit of video creation or ad creation. So that is a high effort. Now, impact just depends on your budget, right? So first, when you're starting out, what you want to do is, you want to pick your battles wisely. So that could be Google Feeds, or Google product ads, or maybe Facebook ads, for example, and then start out small and optimize that platform before you go somewhere else. And always remember, there is always low effort, high impact. We all like to play in that zone, but we can't. So again, start with one platform and then go expand on others. Now, going on to the next slide, what you see on this slide essentially is, I'm going to talk a little bit about Facebook ads. Now, this could resonate with a lot of our audience, because this audience believes a lot in taking products from Zendrop. We're a drop shipping company, and the best way to start out, again, if you're not passionate, or you don't know what you want to sell, then what you do is, you pick some products from Zendrop, and pick like maybe 5 or 10 products, and then create different ad sets for each of those products. Give it a little bit of a budget, say $50, for example, to test it out. Marketing is a lot about testing, right? And then you test, you fail, and then you improve on it. That's what Facebook is. So what I suggest is, you start with 5 or 10 products, create different ads for each of those products, give it a budget of $50. Once you give it a budget of $50, then the second thing you want to do after that is, you want to start broad. Always in any kind of paid advertising, you want to start broad, because once you start broad, Facebook is going to help you collect a lot of data. And you will know that where are the clicks coming from, what is the engagement rate, and what is the sales from. And then you basically narrow it down. So the easiest way is either create an ad set with an age group of 18 plus in the US, and male or female, and just keep it open. And then after $50, you will get a very good idea of the data or where that's coming from. So after you have 5 or 10 products with $50 in budget, you're going to get your performance data. And a lot of it is very, maybe you don't have sales, but what you would see is what is the engagement rate. So if you see that one product has got more engagement than the other 3 products, then obviously your hunch should tell you that that is the product I should double down on. There are a lot of different tactics on Facebook ad, like audience and lookalike. And what you can do after that is once you have that initial data, then you go on and then you double down on all these different tactics. Again, happy to help. Email us and we'll be happy to dive deeper into your ad account. We also see another thing which is very common in our industry is a lot of the Facebook ads are getting shut down. And the whole issue is a classic conundrum that Google had been fighting in early 2000s. And I was working at a big brand. So for me, the small aggregators, they were big, small competition. So what Facebook is facing is a similar issue that Google faced in 2000. And that is the big advertisers are actually lobbying against these small sellers because they don't want these small sellers, especially the drop shippers on there. So what the big companies are saying to Facebook is, hey, you want to do something about this and basically clear the clutter here. And or else we'll have to go elsewhere. And of course, Facebook can't afford to lose their revenues because Snap and TikTok is very close on their heels. So there is a lot of political maneuvering happening at a very higher level. But at a lower level, what you want to do is you want to build your trust, you want to build your reviews and things like that to make sure that your ad account doesn't get shut down. So now if you go to the next slide, please. When people are looking at drop shipping, one of the biggest thing is where to find your next hit. And in life, especially in the entertainment business, it's all about one hit. All you need is one good hit. And we have a great product called Product Finder or EF Product Finder. And what basically this product does is it actually tells you which is a hot product right now and what is the stats around it. So what that means is what's going to be your profit margin. So for example, this is a great product. I bought it too. And essentially your cost is like less than $1 and you can actually mark it up to $10. So your profit is about $8-9. So you take the ads, your CPAs and all those net in, you should be making at least $5-6 a product or more. So this is a great product. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this product. So stick around. Now go on to the next slide. On the next slide, what you see essentially is you take that product, right? You want to find the winning product. So you take that product, which is the Edge Product Finder, and then you combine that with Zendrop. In our catalog at Zendrop.com, we have 100,000 products. And if you don't see a product, you can request us and we'll source it for you. But stick around. I have a special giveaway after this where I'm going to give away the EH Product Finder with Zendrop. So stick around. Okay, on the next slide, please. What I'm going to do now is shift gears and talk a little bit about the long-term sellers. Long-term sellers is hard work, but you're in there. It could be a lifestyle business. I don't want to say passive because nothing is passive, right? So you gotta work like 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day to build your business. And but it is a long-term solution, and then you can just stick around on some beach and somewhere, and just see orders coming in. But as a long-term seller, what you guys should be focusing on is a classic triage of marketing tactics. So tactically, you have 3 big pies, if you will. One is your earned media, one is your paid media, and the third is your owned media, right? And there's infrastructure and all that stuff, which is what platform your website is, how it runs, how is the mobile responsiveness, all of that stuff. But when you look at it, if you're in there for the long term, the first tactics I would suggest everyone to tackle is the owned and earned. So for example, earned is what you do with SEO, right? Owned is your email list. I've met a lot of sellers, and what I find is they don't even have a simple email capturing mechanism. So that's the first thing you should do. Email capturing mechanism and SEO, that is the top tactics. And of course, your social presence when it comes to long-term selling. And then always you can add in the paid side of it. So moving on to the next slide, I'm going to talk one tactic. As I said, I'm going to be talking a little bit of Facebook, and I'm going to run through SEO. But there are building blocks of SEO. So if you are in there for the long term, you should start focusing on SEO at the very start. Most of the people, and it's crazy because I've been doing it since 2001, and SEO was always the last thing on their mind. And even today, 2021, it's still the last thing on their mind. Baffles me. We did a bad job as an industry. So there are 4 building blocks of SEO. One is your engagement object, your technical SEO, your link building, and of course your content. So if you go on to the next slide, what you do see is the 4 components. So when you talk about on page, some people think that just when they have a WordPress or Shopify store and then they add some keywords in the title tag or meta tag, suddenly they're going to be SEO compliant. But that's not true. How you link internally, how you create your keyword buckets, and how you optimize each and every page that it is very topical, right? And that's what on-page optimization is. Now there is link building. Link building is still around. It still works great. But if you're just starting out, I suggest you start looking at it. Same with engagement. We do know now that Google places a lot of emphasis on the time spent by users on your website, because that tells you how sticky your website is. And the less back buttons that Google gets, because you search for it, you click on a link, and do you stay on the site or do you go back to find the other result? From a Google's usability point of view, what Google thinks is when somebody does that, where they find something on Google, they go to a website, and within less than a second they go back, that means this site doesn't have the engagement model built in, so that's not a good result to show, right? So if you have good engagement objects like videos and content and things like that built into your site, your SEO score does have an impact. And of course, there is a technical side of SEO. So now going into the next slide, I'm going to breeze through it. Everybody talks about content. You as an e-commerce store owners, you have the best content because you have millions and millions of products. So every product could be a good keyword value in itself, because what you're looking at is a long tail keyword. So you can have, let's say you're selling phone accessories, right? So you can have like 20 phone accessories like cases and AirPods and what have you in your product catalog, and each product can be a seller in itself if you optimize each page strategically. You should also be thinking about not creating duplicate content. But adding new content is all about looking at searcher intent. You're doing your keyword research, and then you create your content, which is your product page. And one of the common ways that people find products is through model numbers. And model numbers is the easiest way if you're starting out to get ranked on Google, and you will see higher conversions. Now going on to the next slide, you basically, when we work on things, and this is just an example, when you work on it, the first thing you do in SEO is actually you create keyword buckets. So if you are an e-commerce store, and let's say in Kennedy's example, let's say Kennedy is a health and fitness expert, then what somebody like that should do is they should create these keyword buckets on health products, right? Whatever those are, separate it out and create each keyword bucket consisting of different keywords, which are long tail and little bit of head terms in it. So when you're starting out, it's gonna be super tough to get ranked for the top keywords, because the big brands are already playing in it. So you should focus on long tail keywords. Now, the last slide here well, not the last one, but the next slide here is at the end of the day, whether you are short seller or short-term seller, or you are in it for the long haul, experience is everything, right? How I treat you, how you treat me, that's all it matters. And the triad is all about engagement, customer experience, and acquisition. If you put all these three things combined, you should have great success on building a great e-commerce business. So again, I think this is the secret, because as I said earlier, there are no secrets when it comes to e-commerce. So that's what I have, but I stick around. I want to do this little giveaway. So if you go to the next slide, what I want to do right now is I want to give a special thing here to everyone who's there, or essentially who would like to get in, is just for our viewers today on Zendrop Live, and probably I was happy because it's my first time presenting to you guys. So what we are doing is we are combining Zendrop with EH Product Finder. This is a great tool where you can find the hottest items. So what I would do is I would take the items on Product Finder and then run ads on it and source it from Zendrop.com. Okay, so it's like it's the power of two. So what I'm going to do on the next slide, as you see, basically, if you get Zendrop Pro account today, which is like $49, we will throw in the EF product finder for free. The product finder usually is about $47, but just for every one of you today, we'll send it for free. So use this coupon code, which is YT Live, and we'll get it. But I think it's a great tool, and I use it personally too, the product finder. And yeah, so go to Zendrop.com, go on pricing plan page, and click on the Pro plan, which is the second one, which is the one in the middle. Use this coupon code. It's only about $49 a month, and we'll send the other software for free. So that's all I have. But what I would like to do is I would like to take on questions. So whatever questions you have, please bring it on. And Facebook ads, I see somebody said Facebook ads have been up and down. Yep, they have been up and down, absolutely. What it is that's because I don't know where else you're running your ads, but when you have a lot of reliance on only one platform, you have to be careful. But do email me. I'm happy to dive deeper into your account, and if I can help you, my team here can help you in any which way. We'll be happy to do that. Any other questions here? Can I brand the products? Yes. So Jay Report is asking, can I brand the products? Yeah. So we do offer a private labeling. So it's a great way. So basically, we don't not just send like thank you notes inside the box, but yeah, we have a whole private labeling option available. So again, just email us, bob@zendrop.com, or even kennedy@zendrop.com, and we'll get that going for you. Who else? What are the questions we have? I see a bunch of questions. Loving the live so far. So much product. Should have its own ad in the ad set. The product ads with $1.50 split across them. Yeah. So what I would do is, if you can spend $50 on each product, that's a great data set, right? It's all about data. So what I would do is I would allocate $50 for each product. That is the best way to sell, right? And you'll have to, and if budget constraints, start with 5, right? And then expand on that. But in marketing, we call it an A/B testing. After you're done with A/B testing, basically you compare A with B, and then whatever is the winner, then you go into an MVT, which is a multivariate testing, right? And that's classic marketing. And then once you know which is the winning product, then you go into the realm of MVT. And with MVT, what you do is then you improve the product picture, then you improve the ad copy, things like that. And that's called the MVT phase of testing. What other questions do we have? Can you please walk us through on how to find a product? Great question. Again, sign up for the Zendrop Pro account, and we will send you the Product Finder. Product Finder is super easy. We're gonna upgrade your access. As soon as you log in into the Product Finder, you will see on your dashboard a bunch of products, right? And then you'll see a bunch of products, see which one resonates with you. I would focus a lot on products which are like kind of evergreen, like the one I showed you, where it's a, what is it called, a microwave dish, something. And those are great products, right? You also want to stay away, at least in my opinion, and you can correct me, like products with glass and things like that, because sometimes they have breakages, and most of the times, right? So that's how I would do. But yeah, just sign up for Zendrop. We'll add the Product Finder, and you will see on the home page, which is the dashboard of the software, you will see a bunch of product listed up right there. But as always, our team is available 24/7 on Slack and everywhere. So yeah, do reach out to us. What other questions do we have? Hey mate, we are selling sunglasses with a good amount of success so far. How would you do a campaign of sunglasses on Facebook, or what platform would you advertise on for sunglasses? It's great. What are sunglasses? According to me, I don't know what you have, but if you have a product like sunglasses, people want to see it, right? So YouTube, I mean, sure, you've done Facebook, I can tell. Google Ads, I can tell. So of course, in Google Ads, you have the classic Google Ads, but you also have the Google shopping feed. But I would explore YouTube ads, something very visual. And wherever you are, you said, hey mates, I'm guessing you're from Australia, somewhere down under. I don't know, I'm just guessing. If you are, just type in yes, but if you are, you can take people in Bondi Beach or where have you and make them wear your sunglasses, because the visual impact will be great. Also, a landing page will be great, right, where people can actually see the sunglasses, because it's a lot of viral in terms of the social proof with sunglasses. But yeah, happy to dive deeper into it. So do send me an email and we can dive deep into your account as well. Any other questions? This is fun. This is my first time here. As I said, as Kennedy mentioned, I joined the team. So this is fun. So Kennedy, hope I did a good job and met your expectations, and hope everyone enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Good.
How awesome was Bob's information today, you guys? I think that we are lucky to have him on the team, and he is going to be such an asset to all of our Zendrop users as well. So any other last minute questions for Bob? This can be about anything pertaining to success in e-commerce, Zendrop specific questions, anything and everything. We are happy to answer them. And if you don't want to ask them right now, as we said, you can feel free to email Bob at bob@zendrop.com. You can also email myself at kennedy@zendrop.com. And remember to sign up for Zendrop Pro with that discount code YT Live when you sign up for Pro. We will get you guys access to Product Finder completely for free within 24 hours, and you will receive email notification regarding that.
And Kennedy, just curious, is YT Live case sensitive or doesn't matter?
All caps.
All caps?
All caps, yes.
And I was right. They are from Australia. Thank you.
He also wants to know how your hair looks so good.
My hair?
Yes. He asked why your hair looks so good.
I guess you turned 44 and it's going to look good on you too. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys again for attending. You will be seeing a lot more of Bob as well as myself. Drop any types of questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes of Zendrop Live. And don't forget to subscribe to our Zendrop YouTube channel, as we put out new videos as well all the time, to make sure that you guys can build your e-commerce careers online. Thank you guys again.
Thank you. Great to have.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye. Bye.